Every good fighter pilot story starts the same way. So there I was. The night was an angry mistress, and I was one of 60 aircraft holding over the Adriatic Sea, waiting to cross into Yugoslavia as part of Operation Allied Force. I was the flight lead of an F-16, flight of 4 F-16s, and our mission that night was to protect the 60 aircraft against the Yugoslavian surface-to-air missiles that had already shot down 2 U.S. aircraft in the previous 3 weeks. Our plan was to divide into 2 separate figure-8 orbits positioned on the perimeter of the surface, or where we expected the surface-to-air missiles to be. Right at midnight, we checked in for roll call and crossed the border into Yugoslavia. The first 45 minutes of our mission was a choreographed aerial dance where each of those aircraft executed their specific task. With 15 minutes remaining in our mission, I reformed our formation and planned for our exit to ensure all the friendly aircraft were safe and back into good airspace. But my plan was about to change into a deadly game of dodgeball.
We need you louder.
To a deadly game of dodgeball. As I got to the turn point in my orbit, my radar warning receiver erupted like a fire alarm in a quiet theater. My visual indications revealed that I was being targeted by an enemy radar, and it locked onto my aircraft. I immediately turned in the direction to see the threat and saw a flash of white light on the ground and a marble-sized ball of fire lifting off from the ground. The enemy had me in their crosshairs, and the next 30 seconds was going to be a high-stakes dance with fatal consequences. When I tell this story, oftentimes people say, well, were you scared during that time? And I've thought a lot about that. And I can say with confidence, I wasn't scared. Because from the time I was 5 years old, I knew I was going to be a fighter pilot. And I had spent years training, educating, and preparing for a moment just like this. I had a plan B, I knew what to do, and I was ready to execute. So with my eyes on that now baseball-sized ball of fire, I put the aircraft in full afterburner and started to climb, exploding through 25,000 feet. But the missile tracked and corrected on me, chasing me down and closing at 3,000 miles an hour, at a rate each mile closing at 1 second. I communicated my defensive maneuvers to my flight, and they immediately turned to support me. But I knew that any counterpunch they could deliver was going to arrive too late, and it was on me to win or lose that fight. So now with 15 seconds, looking out the window, seeing that now baseball-sized ball of fire tracking toward me, I flipped inverted and flung my aircraft down at almost 500 miles an hour. As the continuous roar or the scream of my radar warning receiver drowned out the roar of my engine, now producing 40,000 horsepower. But the enemy was good. They had already shot down 2 aircraft. They knew what we were going to do. And they corrected the aiming. And the missile continued to track me, getting bigger and closing and catching me quickly. So I rolled upright and I pulled the nose, aggressively nose high, with the full force that I could generate from the controls, and watching as a last-ditch effort to avoid the 5,000 quarter-size cubes of hardened steel baked in 300 pounds of dynamite, now instants from impacting me. And I remember thinking, I'm going to get hit. But by God's divine protection and a thimble full of luck, the missile fell behind me and passed below my aircraft, inches outside of the distance necessary to detonate. 10 minutes later, we recircled, one more sweep of the area, and left back into friendly territory with all the aircraft safe. Mission complete. Every good real estate story starts the same way. There I was. The market was like an angry mistress. We had been under contract for 45 days on a $40 million project in San Antonio. Our mission that night, or that day, was to help our investors become better millionaires. We had 15 days prior to closing, and our mission was about to change, or our plan was about to change into a high-stakes game with costly consequences. Our loan officer erupted like a fire alarm in a quiet theater. The real estate market was under attack from an interest rate missile guided by the Federal Reserves, and it had our project in its crosshairs. Our bank reduced our loan amount, increased the interest rates, and required additional escrow that quite literally shot down our investment. We called the sales broker. We engaged with the seller on numerous occasions to try to find a solution. But those maneuvers didn't work. And I remember thinking, we're going to get hit. Our team now faced a difficult and costly decision to continue the mission and jeopardize our investor capital, or walk away from the deal, cancel the contract, and forfeit a large six-figure deposit. When I tell this story, investors ask me, was that a hard decision? And I've thought about that a lot, and I can say with confidence, it wasn't a hard decision. Because by the time, or since the time I was 20, I knew I was going to be a real estate investor. And I had dedicated hours of training and education and preparation for a minute and a moment just like this. And so with our eyes on the mission, we canceled the contract, and Pilot Legacy took the hit to keep our investors safe. As a postscript to that, we later reinvested the capital that we collected into another project that I can report is bringing good results. Mission complete. Those final 15 minutes over Yugoslavia and the final 15 days in San Antonio are chiseled into my memory and the source of many great lessons. Our mission was clear, our team was prepared, but our plan A didn't go as planned. There are many parallels between these stories, but I'm almost out of time and low on jet fuel. So let me leave you with this one golden bullet that I hope will help you be prepared when your mission is under attack. Success in life or success in business depends on how well you can execute Plan B. I'm Lane Beene from Pilot Legacy, reporting Mission Complete.
Wow. What a great story, huh? He's the man. Get to know him, buy him a drink at the happy hour too. So Lane Beene is an all-American hero. He's Captain America, and he wants to help you too. So get to know him, get a relationship built with Lane Beene. So we're very fortunate to have him be a member of the Old Capitol team too.